which is a streaming radio media player on our website's front page, where local artists can get their music played 24/7. For more information on getting your music in rotation or to perform live at our studio, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Android users, the VoxWave app is now available in the Google Play Store. Download the app today on your Android device to listen in and view programs.
Business owners looking for a place to advertise your business and promote your products and services? VoxWave is the right place. We have over 10,000 views a day and 70,000 listeners a month. For more information, contact Reg Gaskins at 240-832-4455.
Enhance your listening experience. VoxWave.com.
Check out all your favorite shows at VoxWave.com. On Mondays, we keep it moving with the Kim Show from 11 to 1 p.m. Then it's time for a change with Sherry and Mignon, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then in the end we win with Curtis, 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. On Tuesdays, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Start your afternoon with the Wealth Zone with Raymond Starks. Then it's Cooking with Flavors with Chef Flavors, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And treat yourself right with My Spa Bath and Body, hosted by Margaret Harris, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Up next is Slick Daddy Rick, Heartbeat Congo Hour, rocking from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Then on Wednesdays, you can't miss Impact the World with Cheryl Woods, 12 noon to 2 p.m. And then from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., we got Slick Talk with Oscar D and It's the Kid. Then from 8 to 9 p.m., we crank it up with Live Set Wednesdays, hosted by Reg Gaskins. And after that, 9:15 to 10:15 p.m., the BGKH Show with Dominion and Epic. And check out our Thursday lineup, starting with You, Math, and Me, hosted by George Randall from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Then from 7 to 9 p.m., the 640 Evening Show with DJ 640. And on Fridays, we start out with Peace in the Morning Show with Darius A. Stan, co-host Delicate Daryl Barnes, and Queen of Sudabed, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. From 10:30 to 11:30, the Hall Street Journal with Robert Hall and co-host Clarence Sanders. And after that, you know we gotta check in with Chanel's 3 Cents, 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Up next, from 3 to 4:30 p.m., Daryl Allen Hairston II Crime Victims Foundation Show with your host, Daryl Hairston. Then, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. is The Rush Hour with DJ Drew and Janique. And from 9:15 to 11:15 p.m., you can't miss Different Mind Show with Bam 640 and DJ Andre Michael, co-host Hillary Banks. Then start out your Saturday mornings with the Hilla Blues Show, hosted by Ron Jackson. After that, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., The Hour of Power with Reverend Winters Rogers. Then, from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, it's time for prayer, praise, and deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr. Four Sisters Live Talk, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Then every second Saturday, listen to Turning Dreams into Reality Talk Show with Tashika L. Green, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. After that, from 3 to 4 p.m., we walk in newness 24/7 with Missionary Antoinette. And don't miss, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., news, ULM News and Analysis, information, sports, Black history, with your host, news anchor Roderick Carter Rivers, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Then, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., it's time for DJ Rick, the CEO of Step Your Game Up, the Youth Project, co-hosted by DJ Main and DJ Low Hefe. And then, at 7:45 to 8:45 p.m., it's time for the Fantastic Live Show with MC Fran. And starting out on Sundays, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I am Dr. Sharon Show with Dr. Sharon. And every first Sunday, from 3 to 4 p.m., it's the Riri Williams Show, Fashion and Style Hour. And every third Sunday, check out the Tea Talk Show with Dr. Akita Pearson, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Then it's time for Real Talk 101, 6 to 8 p.m. And from 8:15 to 9:15 p.m., we're tuned into the Gospel Live TV show with Glory Mello. Stay tuned to Vox Wave, where you can find all your favorite shows.
The world's #1 streaming music station, VoxWave.com.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influenced.
Hey guys, it's Wednesday, which means we are here on Impact the World Radio. We are here every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and I am your host, Cheryl Wood. And we're in here laughing in the studio because, look, I'm still on Africa time. I am still adjusting. It was an amazing trip. And look, I have never gone on a vacation where I did not want to come back. And I think my entire family felt that way. My husband, my kids, we all were just like, we could use another week here in South Africa. It was beautiful. It was majestic. It was unforgettable. And I had some amazing opportunities. Of course, you guys know that I went there to be honored as a global leader as a part of the 2018 When Women Heal Global Leadership and Activism Summit. Thank you to Tierra Destiny Reed and the whole committee of When Women Heal for honoring me and honoring my work. But also while I was there, I had an opportunity to talk to some amazing college girls at an institute called Pearson Institute of Higher Learning. I always have to make sure I get that right. And these girls were just so amazing. They were engaged. They were like church. They were like, yes, yes. I mean, I love the energy. You know, for a speaker, to get energy back from an audience is like exactly what you kind of live for. And these girls they were phenomenal. They were so amazing. We were in this space where I did the speaking engagement, and they were kind of on their break. But after we broke, you know, I didn't expect that they were going to be lined up to meet me, to greet me, to take selfies. We were so long taking selfies, they had to put us out of the space we were in and like, we got to move y'all over to another space because that space was going to be occupied. But the reception was beautiful. They emailed me that the girls are still talking about it and they want me to either come back or to do some online virtual training sessions. So I'm super excited about that. I also got to connect with two beautiful sisters. I got to give a huge shout out to Lizzie and Ivy. Lizzie is a 22-year-old businesswoman, entrepreneur, 22-year-olds with her own construction company in South Africa. Hello. Talk about taking over the world and impacting the world with your gift. And her friend Ivy, which they balance each other so well, is an aspiring entrepreneur who has this amazing vision of how she wants to change the world. Now, the beautiful thing about Ivy is I've been back for what, 4 days, 5 days, something like that. I got an email from Ivy last night that she has now started a business. Come on now. I mean, so what's up with us? What's up with you here in the United States? Like, we got to make sure that we are starting. And that's what she said in her email. She said, the thing that stuck with me about everything we had in our conversation was the fact that you said, just get started. Because as you get started, you will be detoured, I believe, to exactly where you're meant to be. You guys know my story. Started legal secretary, started a t-shirt business, got detoured exactly where I belong into what I was born to do, which is speaking. So sometimes just getting started through being in movement and motion, you will land exactly where God wants you to be. All right. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So I'm going to jump in because we have, oh my God, some phenomenal women in the studio today. This woman next to me, I can't even believe that she is here. And you're going to know why I say that in just a moment. Her name is Cheryl, another Cheryl. So you know it's going to be a phenomenal segment. Yeah. Cheryl Bizard. Y'all, she's here from the Bahamas. Can we give it up for the Bahamas? Yeah.
242.
Yeah, and when she said she was coming, I was like, wait, okay, you do know that we're in Maryland. Like, my sister and I kept saying, okay, does she know that we're in Maryland? Does she know she got to be live in the studio? And this sister made it happen, talking about impacting the world. So let me give her official formal introduction so you can know exactly who she is, and she's a powerhouse, I'm just saying. So former Senator Cheryl Bizard is an attorney in the chambers of Bizard and Company, called to the bars of England and Wales and the Bahamas Bar in 1991. She has more than 20 years of experience as a compliance professional and is the former legal counsel, corporate secretary, and regional director of compliance for CIBC and CIBC First Caribbean International Bank, as well as former director of compliance for Scotiabank in the Bahamas. She was counsel in the Office of the Attorney General and stipendary and circuit magistrate. That's a whole lot of hard words. Y'all know I didn't go to college, right? She is the founding president of the Bahamas Association of Compliance Officers, the 2003 awardee for the Bahamas Financial Services Board Professional Excellence Award, former associate tutor at the Eugene Dupuch Law School. I'm doing pretty good. I'm impressed with myself. And lecturer at the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services. She was co-executive director of the Vote Yes Bahamas campaign for the constitutional referendum on gender equality. You just a bad sister.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm here.
Oh my goodness.
I'm here in person, you know.
You are. Okay, so let's just ask the question.
Yeah.
What made you say yes to come in and share this message with our audience all the way from the Bahamas?
Well, I was talking to your next guest in the studio, and we were saying, listen, you don't wait on life to come to you. You go to life.
Yes.
And so when I got the email, and I was just like, how did you get my email address? Or how did I get your feed? And it was like, are you this? Are you that? I met 3 out of 4 criteria. I didn't live in D.C. But there was a resonance in the spirit that said, you know what? She's a Cheryl. I'm a Cheryl. We have to meet. And so I said, I'm going to go. And then, you know, there was a lull in our conversation. And I'm like, well, I'm going to give it up. I'm not going to bother her anymore. I'm like, no. 2018 is not the year for that. This is the time for us as women to rise up, take over the world. And then not only that, I think we need to understand that we come from a diaspora, that we are sisters. You may be here in Maryland. I'm from the Bahamas. But there is something so intricate in the dust that swirls out of the Africa that you just stepped out of that took us across the world. But it's time now for us to bind together and be the sisters that we truly are. You're a passion house here, but your passion needs to connect with my passion in the Bahamas, and let's take over the world. Your thing is not called Impact the World for nothing. In fact, you've been in the United States, probably dealing with United States guests on this show, but there was time now for your name to really reflect what it is. Impact the world. So I am here as the first world guest.
All right. You better say it.
You know, and I just like being first. But let me tell you my story. I am my parents' 16th child.
What? Wait a minute. What?
1-6. I didn't stutter. 16.
Wow.
Okay. And so, yeah, my parents didn't have television. You know, but I can tell you that God birthed me under the number of favor. I'm born on the 5th day of the 5th month. I'm the 5th daughter.
Wow.
And 6 of my siblings have died in childbirth and now I have 5 brothers and 5 sisters. Tell me God ain't good.
Absolutely.
Tell me he didn't send me here under favor. So I'm like, I have to come here because the message I really want to give today is really that no matter where you are, no matter where you start, college wasn't for me. My parents couldn't afford it. I was working as the first magistrate court clerk in the Bahamas. We say clerk, you may say clerk, right?
Yes, that's right.
We have some British in us, you know? And I worked for a year, and I wanted to go to law school. Now, I wasn't destined for law school because I didn't come from that family. No one in my family was a lawyer. Where did I get that from? But God had put it in my heart. And so I worked for a year, bought my ticket to England, paid for the first term, paid for a taxi to take me from London to Buckingham, where my school was. And that's when I went into law school. Didn't know where the next term would be paid.
Wow.
But I find that when you take a step out in faith, God begins to put steps underneath you, and he guides you to where. And hey, 27 years later, it'll be 27 years since I've been called to the bars of England and Wales and the Bahamas this year, August. Wow. And here I am.
Wow.
And so my message isn't just a message that is one for the United States or the Bahamas. My message is a message for the world.
For the world.
The same message you carry.
Absolutely. First of all, I love your energy. I love your passion. I love so many things that you just said just resonated with me.
Right.
Especially the whole idea of it being a faith walk.
Yeah.
And I do believe when you've been called to serve the world, as so many of us have been and so many women that I've connected with have been, it is a faith walk. And it's not just a one-time faith walk. It is an ongoing constant.
It's life.
So talk about some of the, because we read this bio.
Yeah.
And I think a bio is important because it demonstrates the work that we've put in and what we've done and our faith walk.
Right.
But I think it's also important for people to understand where the faith came into the walk. So we have a part of it. Okay, I showed up. I didn't know how the second term was going to go.
Yeah.
But talk about some of the other faith walks that you've had to have along the journey. Are there times where you're like, I didn't know how this was going to happen. I don't know how I ended up as this woman with this bio and this resume.
Well, let me tell you. And again, at the age of 5, there's that number again.
Yes.
My parents had a round bed, so you couldn't buy the spread out of the stores. They had to be made. The sheet was made out of polyester, and I'm not talking about the fine one now. You know, that thick polyester cloth. A little piece of the cloth was left over. They made a dress out of it for me. I hated the dress. I had someone say to me at age 5, "You're not going to amount to anything. All your life, you're going to wear polyester dresses.
Wow.
You're going to be like your mom. You're never going to drive." My mother was a housewife. My father was a police officer. And it hit me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to prove this person wrong. And it began there. And God just began to put persons into your life that fed it. It was teachers. I went to a public school, Mabel Walker Primary School. I have to give a shout out to that school.
That's right. Shout out to
That's
school.
where I
That's
started,
right.
you know, and it was what we call a government school. So nothing was expected. When I went into high school, I went to a private school, and I remember someone asking me, what is Mabel Walker Primary? It was derision. You don't belong here. I was a Baptist, went to an Anglican private school, became its head girl, its valedictorian, and house captain for that school.
Wow. Wow. But that framing that you just talked about of people, other people sometimes feeling like you don't belong there.
Right.
Talk about how you fight against that mentally, because I believe that's an internal warfare, a mental warfare. People try to attack you mentally because then it prevents you from manifesting the very thing that you've been birthed to do. So how have you dealt with that across the board? Because I'm sure as you were going after some of these positions, there was some opposition. And how did you deal with that? And what did you say to yourself internally to move beyond the barriers that other people had already created that now you're perhaps becoming aware of because of what they're speaking out of their mouth?
Well, there were opposition. There were challenges. You're black.
Yes.
You're female.
Yes.
That's 2 minorities
Hello,
already.
2 strikes already, right.
And you didn't come from a prominent family.
Yes.
Even from a political stance, I didn't come from a prominent political family. But then I learned. You see, God's word is the manual. We came with that manual. You go back to the manual, the one who created you, you'll be all right.
Yes.
And I've come to the realization, I am enough.
Yes.
No more. This full stop.
That's it.
Period. I am enough.
It's a period at the end of that.
Not a comma, not a semicolon, a full stop, a period.
Yes.
I am enough. Why? God made me. I'm purposed to be here.
Yes.
I am here for such a time as this. And I am embracing all of the opportunities, all of the giftings. And you know, persons like to put you in a box.
Yes.
So if you say, I'm an attorney, well, just do what attorneys do. But I want more out of life. And people will tell you, well, what more do you want? What more do you want to be? I want to die empty. Everything
so
poured out.
We are like definitely, there's a synergy, such a synergy. I just did a Facebook Live this morning, which was unexpected. I had just dropped my kids off at school. I was still in the school parking lot.
Right.
And I literally had this conversation about being enough and knowing that wherever God places you is where you belong.
Yeah.
And we had one of our guests, and I keep referencing this because it was so powerful, one of our guests, Avis Jones DeWeaver, who does a lot of work with equality for women, and especially for our women of color. And we were talking about that whole concept of being qualified and education.
Right.
And I also, again, you'll hear me say constantly, I'm Cheryl Wood from the hood with no college degree.
Right.
But look at where God will position you. And one of the things she said was, you know, in this society, we have to stop equating intelligence with education.
Yes.
And I think everything that you've accomplished is such a testament to that, and a testament of the faith walk that goes with that belief that I am enough.
Yes.
And I was mentioning that on the Facebook Live this morning, that everything that God puts in front of me, I have to believe I am enough to manifest whatever's supposed to come as a result of this. Whoever's life is supposed to be impacted as a result of this. I am enough. He put me here for a reason. But so many women, we get caught up in, oh, I'm not qualified. There's a whole, like you were talking about the list that we sent, saying, hey, if you can answer yes to these 5 things, then we want you on the show. And she was like, okay, I can answer yes to 4 of them. And no, I can't answer yes, but I'm coming anyway. And
Definitely.
I love that. It's a tenacity to say, I'm going for what I want. And as you said, I'm going to leave this place empty.
Definitely.
That means everything that you've gone through, your experiences, your knowledge, your failures, everything is about you because you went through it, but it ain't for you. It's for somebody else. So talk about some of the influences in your life.
Right.
Have you had coaches, mentors, people that you have looked at their model and maybe they've inspired you? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I've had it in terms from a background. My father was military. My father was from three children. One brother, one sister. My mother's an only child. Tell me how these people end up with 16 children, okay? I don't know. 16. And so I had him because he ruled his house, but he was a man. He was a provider, okay? And then they grew us up in church. Really, our social life was church. You had Girls Brigade, you had choir practice, you had BTU, you had all of these things that centered around church activities. But then there were pastors who told you that there was more out of you. They saw your gifting. And you know, the thing about it is that people see your gifting even before you do. Now, some people...
You gotta say it, sister.
Yeah.
They do.
Some people respond positively and they want to draw it out of you, while some people respond negatively. There's that jealousy. But there's no time for that. Because if I come with my gifting and I pair it with your gifting, we cannot be the same.
Absolutely.
And God gave us that example with the body. We're not just one head or one eye. We have different parts that play different roles to make sure that it's done. We are effective on this earth realm because we're not here forever, but we are ambassadors. See, I see myself as an ambassador from the kingdom. I'm a kingdom woman, okay? And, right now I'm under the pastorship of Bishop Neil Ellis. And Bishop Ellis is a global man. So the mandate has been, we have formed the Global United Fellowship. And so we have gone out into the world from a tiny little country called the Bahamas, a little pinhead. Some people ask you, where is that? What is, you just see it as a dot on the map. But, it isn't where you begin. And it doesn't matter the size where you begin. Some of the largest trees come from the smallest seeds.
Absolutely.
And so I'm one of the small seeds, but I know that I have greatness within me. And I'm an oak tree that I need to shade, I need to provide. I'm not just here for myself. And that's why with the gender equality and the referendum, it was a passion for me because in our constitution in the Bahamas, a married woman, if she's married to a foreigner, cannot pass on her Bahamian citizenship to her child.
Wow.
But a man can.
Wow. You guys hear that?
Yeah. And then likewise, if an unmarried Bahamian woman, she can have a child for any nationality, the child is Bahamian. But an unmarried man, if he has a child with a foreign woman, the child does not inherit Bahamian citizenship. Wow. And so there are inequalities that are not fair. And once you have been given, to whom much is given, much is required.
Absolutely.
Okay? And so you now have to break down barriers for others who don't know how to get through them. And you have to fight. Sometimes the fight is difficult because there are persons who still want the status quo. But life is about shattering status quo. Cheryl from the hood. With Cheryl, I always say my maiden name was Major. So I tell people I'm major, not minor.
I love it. I love it. Man, you got me with goosebumps over here because you are talking my talk. Yeah. And it is so true that when you are blazing trails and what I consider a voice, being a voice for the voiceless, somebody has to do the work and somebody has to be out front, in the forefront, helping to create change and shift and impacting the world with new ideas and creativity and new concepts and making sure that there is equality. And I love that you have accepted that responsibility. And it is responsibility.
It is.
So have you, during that process of being that trailblazer and being a voice for others, have you ever fallen flat on your face and you're like, okay, God, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this and how I'm gonna move beyond this? Give us an example of a failure or you falling flat on your face or feeling defeated, and then maybe that God turned that thing around. And you're just like, okay, that was completely God, that wasn't me.
Well, let me tell you, I've had a foray into politics. I've been a senator. I ran in the last general election to be what we call a member of parliament. You would call that Congress. And I didn't win. Okay. But I didn't win then. So you're still there because I am what you call inner city, we call over the hill. So I come from over the hill. In fact, there were 2 hills to climb to get to school. So I tell people I had 2 hills to climb. Some people have 1, I had 2. Some people have mountains, but I had a hill. And so my thing was getting into that community because I came from that community. And I wanted to tell young girls and young boys in that community, listen, I did it. There was nothing special or magical about me. It was just hard work. Yeah. So to fail, and persons may see it as a failure, to fail publicly and openly. Yeah. It's like, do I now stay on the trail? Because I know that maybe it's something that is innate in me, or I've been told it. See, because some things that God whispers to you in private, when you have to come onto the stand in the spotlight and execute, it's different and it's difficult. Because some persons, again, put you in a box. Why are you here? You don't look like us now. You don't, and they try to find what makes us different instead of what makes us alike.
So what did you do with that? So you failed publicly, it didn't happen, you didn't win. How do you move beyond that, and what was the lesson in it?
Well, I continued to work. And the lesson in it is that you learn so much when you hit the ground in politics, going door to door. We're still in a door-to-door campaign. And you see the struggles that persons have that you didn't even know existed in a country that is so rich with so many things. And you feel, sometimes, you know, because you move in certain circles, you don't get to see the day-to-day grind and frustration that young mothers, you know, I went to a house, a young mother, 23 years old, 5 children.
Wow.
What do you do with her? What do you say to her? But you could say, listen, dust yourself off. Can I give you this opportunity? So I'm still talking to the constituency through Facebook, through social media, through reaching out, and making sure I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere.
And I think that's for me, from my perspective, that's the win, is that you are still here and that you are still standing. And sometimes the win is not always the big win that you think. I just said this morning on the Facebook Live that sometimes the master plan is not your plan, it's the master's plan. Right? And sometimes we try to make it our plan. And there are so many lessons, I'm sure, in the fact that you fought for that position and that you went for it. Like that alone, the journey of going for it will inspire more people. Even it's not about always just the big win, the final outcome, the final win. It's what is the process that we learn. What do we learn through it? The journey. What does it teach somebody else? The fact that you're still here. You're like, okay, this ain't over. This is just the beginning. We're just getting started. And I promise you that encourages, motivates, inspires, uplifts somebody else in their own journey. And it doesn't have to be related to politics, but just in their own life journey that I can get back up after I, let's say, fail. And failure is just lessons learned, right? I tell people all the time, my success strokes my ego. My failures teach me how to do it better the next time, period. So it's always lessons learned and information that I add into my arsenal to be an amazing powerhouse woman who is impacting the world. I mean, we could talk to you all day.
Like, well, I have an addendum to your thing.
Success
goes to your head. Sorry, success goes to your head. Failure, success goes to your heart. Failure to your head. So you don't dwell in it.
You
don't get bogged down. But I know we can talk forever, Cheryl, because you're a Cheryl, I'm a Cheryl, and we understand Cheryls.
I'm just saying, can we do this publicly, that I'm coming to the Bahamas, that we're going to work something out?
Definitely.
Because this right here, this can't stop right here in a 30-minute conversation. This has to be ongoing. I think you said it so powerfully when we first started, that it is the world, impacting the world. And that means, and I said this too, is on this Facebook Live this morning, getting out of your zip code, getting out of your own region. And sometimes do you find this? Sometimes you aren't valued in your own zip code? Did you say,
A prophet is never respected in his own hometown.
Oh my God.
And sometimes you have to go outside and the world sees it and they embrace you. But hey, you don't get bitter. You get better, and then you take that gifting and that growth and you take it right back home and say, you know what? I felt nothing about it. Here it is. Here's the gift.
Cheryl B said it, okay? You don't get bitter, you get better. What? You better type that in there. You better hashtag that. And as I say, hashtag get on an airplane. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere where, because sometimes when people see you rise and they just still see you as the rookie. They don't see where God has taken you through the faith walk. They don't see, what they say, people always want the glory, but they don't know the story, right? So they don't see what you've been through, what you struggled through, pressed through, persevered through to get to where you are. And sometimes people still see you as the intern or the rookie. But God has already elevated you. So you just go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. Plain and simple. So if you could give any other woman who's watching through Facebook Live, we shouting you guys out, those who are watching through voxwave.com online, give them any piece of advice about truly soaring in your gift. And that word called fear that holds so many women hostage to where they don't want to be. What would be your kind of final concluding words to women in order to be their very best and actually impact the world with their gift?
My thing is, always remember, put faith over fear. Okay? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Step out. I mean, do not allow yourself to be conformed to somebody's views. In fact, somebody's opinion of you is none of your business. And so I walk in the fact that I am enough, that I am a child of God, and that makes me enough. He has gifted me. I listen to him. You see, you have to get still and hear what he's saying. You have to walk under the direction of God. He wants to talk to you. But, you know, both of us couldn't talk together on this show. I had to listen sometimes. You had to listen sometimes. And we have to find ourselves in a listening position with God. And so I have listened. I'm walking. I'm not saying that I have it all together. We don't all the time. And I don't want you to be fearful to say, oh, I could never be like her. Listen to her. This took time. This took effort. Of course, there's some giftings. You know, God gives it to you. But with the confidence, you walk in the room, you own it. You own that room because you are a child, in fact, of the universe.
Absolutely.
You know, and you belong here.
I love it.
Yeah.
She said it. I am enough, period.
Yeah.
She said that earlier, and we're repeating that again. I am enough, period. And really internalizing that and knowing, like, full out that you really, really are enough. Like this morning I talked about validation versus confirmation. And one thing I don't look for is validation from anyone else because I already got that validation. Like I have the stamp that says pre-approved by God. Like I already know that fearfully and wonderfully made and made to do great things and impact people's lives. So I don't need the validation. I don't look for validation. But God will send you confirmation. Meaning people might send you a note saying, oh my God, I heard you on the show. You were amazing. Thank you. You touched my spirit. What you said resonated with me. That's confirmation that you're walking in the gifting. But the validation, like stop looking for people to nod their head. Yeah, you should do it. Yeah, you should try. You should get started. No, we're giving the world permission. We're putting the world on notice that I am here. I am brilliant. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And I'm going to make my impact. I'm going to make my stamp on this world and leave my unique fingerprint that nobody else can duplicate.
No.
Nobody can be you.
No. And I'm a jumper. I jump and then I find out, did I pack the parachute? You know, I just believe in stepping out. I am that person. And, you know, back home, my friends are like, Cheryl, what else? You know, I know if it's on the edge, you're somewhere near there. And that's how you live. Life was meant to be lived and to live fully. Fully and completely.
As you said, you're gonna leave this place empty.
Definitely.
So as we wrap up, two things. I want you to tell people how they can get in touch with you, how they can connect with you, but also what's next for Cheryl Bizard.
Well, okay, first of all, I'm in the Bahamas. My office number 242-326-0126 or 7. My email, bizardlaw, BAZARDLAW @gmail.com. And what is next? Cheryl Bizard is open to whatever God has next for her. I don't limit myself, and so I'm not going to give you a checklist to say what's next. Just watch. Just watch.
Well, we'll snap that out on Just Watch. I love that.
And I'm on Facebook as well, so you can contact me on Facebook as well. Cheryl with a C. We're the originals.
Yeah, we are.
And you know, Cheryl means princess or dear one.
Hello, hunty. We're going to have you back. I'm just saying, we got to make sure this thing we're going to have you back here.
Sure.
But we're going to do something big together. And then we're going to do something in the Bahamas.
We go big or we go home.
But that's right. She could be here all day. I'm just saying, don't you want to hang out with her? Don't you just want to hang out with her? Give you goosebumps. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes to your gifting, for saying yes to showing up amazing in the world, for saying yes to being courageous and bold and facing your fears and not allowing the world to confine you to what they think you should be, and for being such a bold example to the rest of us of what it really looks like to say, I am enough. Make sure you connect with Cheryl Bizard online, Facebook. What's the website one more time?
It's www.bizard-law.com.
Bizard-law.com. If somebody could type that in the feed on Facebook, that would be fantastic. We're going to keep things moving. We have another phenomenal guest who's here in the studio live. We are going to be talking to Miss Thalia Puryear in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Time is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough, and now I see. Yeah, I will reach my destiny. Yeah. I don't need your permission. Yes, I'm on a mission. I'll win. Oh, oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Because we're going to make some declarations in here today. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me. Say, oh, say I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Hey, yeah.
All right, I know you guys still have goosebumps from Cheryl Bazard, phenomenal woman, all the way from the Bahamas. So look, for real, we really are international up on this show. I got to thank some folks before I move on and introduce my next guest. First of all, I want to thank this amazing sister who performed this song, produced this song. We really, really appreciate you, Tammy Turner. Playtime is over. Like, it is time to stop playing with your own emotions about what you want to do in the world and keeping yourself hostage to a reality that you don't want and you don't love. So she actually wrote that song, she produced that song in the studio, and then she performed it at our conference, the annual Playtime is Over conference that I had last year in November. And we decided to adopt that as our theme on this show because it's just so applicable, especially as women, standing shoulder to shoulder. We're bolder together. There is power in numbers. And so you should not be trying to do this thing called impacting the world on your own. You should absolutely be connected to people who celebrate you. You should be connected to other people who see greatness in you. As Cheryl Bazard mentioned, sometimes people will see more greatness in you than you see in yourself. Those are the folks I want to be around. People who are encouraging me and uplifting me and urging me to use my gifts, not the people who shun me because perhaps I'm shining a little bit too bright. You should be shining on like 100 watt and they should be like, keep shining, sister. And if you're not in those circles, then you need to find some new circles. So huge shout out to Tammy Turner for that amazing song, which is our anthem. And then, of course, we could not be here without our partners who have teamed up with us so that we could make this show possible. So I want to first thank our 2 platinum partners, Cherie M. Good and Ladrine Peterson. So Cherie M. Good, her company is Total Harmony Enterprises, and you can check her out on the web at totalharmonyenterprises.com. And you can look her up on social media under Total Harmony Enterprises or Cherie Good, Goode. She teaches you how to recharge, just like we recharge our batteries and our phones. Sometimes we got to stop and we have to recharge our own internal batteries. So she is the recharge strategist doing such phenomenal things in the world. Keep up the great work. And then, of course, Ladrine Peterson, who is a career and business strategist who is passionate about inspiring and helping others to optimize and implement ideas and fulfill their dreams. She helps turn dreamers into doers. You can check her out online at do-it-delivers.com. Do-it-delivers.com. Hey, A.B. Taylor. A.B. says, my husband has adopted those words, playtime is over. He loves it. I love that. That's fantastic. We love when the hubbies come on board, right? We love that. Hey, Crystal Wallace, thanks so much for being here. And then last but not least, our 2 gold partners, Amina McWhirter and Robin Rogers. So Amina McWhirter is the founder of Love by the Handles Incorporated, which is a 501c3 nonprofit community-based organization that helps serve individuals who are in transition in the DC area. She does phenomenal work. She just celebrated 5 years strong. She goes into some homeless shelters and they serve some of the population that is a part of the homeless shelters. And she's helping women who are coming out of situations such as domestic violence and helping them to get their footing. So we need you. We value what you do in the marketplace. I tell people all the time, I can never do the work she does because she is cut out for that work. So visit her organization at lovebythehandles.org. And last but not least, Robin Rogers, who is a lifestyle and image expert, helping women to develop greater self-confidence and reflect that confidence through inner and outer image. She empowers women to enjoy a transformed lifestyle despite life-changing trauma and transition. And she's actually prepping for her conference on September 8th. It's going to be a full-day conference from 10 to 5 in the D.C. region. It's called the Whole Woman Symposium. You can get your tickets at the wwb2018.eventbrite.com. I'll say that again, the wwb2018.eventbrite.com. And you can learn more about her work as a whole at robinrogersempowers.com. Thank you so much to all of those ladies and those companies for being our partners and making this show possible for us to bring to you every week, every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And moving on, now I have yet another phenomenal guest in the building. Her name is Thelia Puryear. While serving on active duty in the military, Thelia was assigned to organizations all over the world. Thank you so much for your service. She led at all organizational levels and rose to the most senior enlisted rank prior to retiring in October 2015. She started her company, Strategy Link Consulting, in early 2017, specializing in organizational and business development. Strategy Link's mission is to help organizations achieve long-term growth and success by developing self-aware leaders. I love that terminology. Self-aware leaders with emotional intelligence and creating viable organizational strategies. Welcome to the show. Thank you. First of all, I'm loving the hair. Oh. You are making me want to go back to the short. I'm just saying. You look fantastic. Well, she said, don't do it. Why? Because it's hard up here.
It is hard.
It is. I know, but you look phenomenal.
Thank you.
So tell us how you got into this whole space of being in the military and being the most senior enlisted rank prior to retiring, and what you've been doing with yourself since you've been retired. Tell us all of that. We just want to know the good, juicy stuff about your story.
Okay, so I'm from a small town in Alabama.
Oh, Alabama.
Not a lot to do, not a lot of industry or jobs. So after graduating from high school, I did attend college for 1 year, but financially, it just wasn't my path at the time. So I decided to join the military so that I could still pursue my college degree, get the tuition assistance from the military. So I did that. And initially I joined, I said I'm going to just do my 4 years, which was my initial enlistment, and then I'm getting out. Well, 25 years later.
Wow.
So I had an outstanding, amazing military career. Couldn't have asked for a better career choice. Wow. I learned a lot. It taught me a lot about myself as a person, as a leader. I had my two sons who also followed in my footsteps. They're also in the military. So I think that was from watching me and their father, who was in the military as well. It was just
25 years.
25 years.
So from I'm just going in and doing my 4 and I'm getting out to 25 years.
Exactly.
So I would imagine, and I've never served. So again, I thank you so much for your service and your family for the service. But what were some of the challenges that you faced in that 25 years, especially number one as a woman and number two as an African-American woman? I know that there were specific challenges that you faced. Talk about what you faced and how you kind of pressed through those. Because sometimes when we face challenges, sometimes we do want to throw in the towel. We want to give up, like, this is too hard.
Definitely.
So how did you press through? What made you press through? What did you tell yourself? Just talk about that a little bit.
So, you hit the nail on the head. So facing challenges as a woman in a male-dominated career,
yes,
and also as an African-American, there were definitely a lot of challenges, leadership challenges, but I was very fortunate to have some amazing leaders, some amazing women leaders that I could look to as mentors, as role models, that I would rely on their guidance, on their mentorship throughout the years. And also some male leaders. I don't want to not mention that I did have some great male mentors and some great male role models throughout my military career as well.
Well, I think that speaks volumes. I'm going to stick with the women. You know, it's good that there's some men help, but I want to really focus on the women who became mentors in your journey, because you know, we hear this saying sometimes that women can't work together and women don't help other women. And look, just truthfully, I have experienced that, where sometimes women get into positions of leadership and they don't reach back. But clearly you had some women who did reach back. And so I want you to talk about, how did that impact you? Like, how did they guide you? Were you in a relationship with them where they were like, hey, if you want to move forward, do this, this, and this? Or what did that mentorship look like?
Yeah, so definitely, I had some amazing leaders that I kind of followed their example, that would mentor me and give me advice on career moves and next steps, things that I needed to do to be successful, to continue to move up in the ranks. You know, from the time that I joined the military all the way until I retired. So I was fortunate to have some that were walking that path the entire time, that I still keep in touch with today. That I still keep in contact with and ask for their guidance and their mentorship and advice on different aspects of leadership. So, yeah, definitely throughout my journey in the military career, some very powerful leaders that were in some pretty significant positions that were able to give me that advice and that guidance, and were able to, to provide that mentorship.
Yeah. And then what, do you reach back, or did you reach back, and then did you start mentoring other people?
I want to definitely say yes. And I'll say, as a testament to that, I still keep in contact with some of the women that I did serve with, that I was their supervisor. So I think that that is a testament to me, and says that, yes, I did provide that mentorship, the fact that I still keep in touch with them and they still reach out to me and ask me for my advice.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful. And I think it's a testament to a couple things. Number one, that we are all always students. Like, we should be lifelong learners and students. You should never get to a place where you're like, oh, I got this, I did this, I have all these accomplishments and I'm good. Because you mentioned in your conversation that you still reach out, you can still connect with the people who were your mentors, and they still provide you with leadership guidance, right? And now you do the same thing with the people who you're the mentor to. So you are a student for life. It doesn't stop because you have a certain designation in the military, or assignment, or role, or title, whatever it is that you want to call it. You always should be open to receiving feedback, guidance about, how can I be better? Like, that's one of the things we talked about with Cheryl, is leaving this place empty. So when you talk about leaving empty, that means I'm pouring out all of me. Every single day I'm finding a way to pour out more of me. My lessons learned, the mess that I've been through, the challenges I've pressed through, the story of my life. I'm using that to help somebody else. And so you can always learn and always grow. So I think that's a testament. And then I think the second piece of that, of hearing you talk about that, is just the fact that as women, we owe it to each other. There's a saying that, or a question, am I my sister's keeper? And no, you're not your sister's keeper. You're your sister. Meaning, you should be, if you are rising and you are growing and you're being placed in position to do powerful things, how dare you not reach back and help someone else, and help especially another woman? Because if we don't do it for us, who's going to do it for us? Right? So we already have so many challenges against us in the world, and I'm sure this was the same in your case in the military. We don't need to be each other's challenge. Like, we need to be each other's support system. We need to be lifting each other up, guiding each other, pulling the sister to the side, saying, look, if you want to, this is the great path. This is the great path that you can take. If you want to get here, this is what you need to do. Like, today, I just challenge you, those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are watching through VoxWave, reach out and help somebody else. Reach out and help somebody else. So what can you talk about, maybe one failure that you've experienced, whether in the military or just over the course of life? Because this is a life journey that you're like, you know what, that was a big lesson for me that helped me to get to where I am today.
I can't say that I can pinpoint one. I'll just kind of, in general, being a leader in the military, having soldiers that are following you, that are looking to you for guidance, especially when you're in a combat zone, away from family. and you are each other's family. I would say, being in that situation where I felt like I wasn't, or there were indicators that maybe I wasn't being the leader that I should have been, and having to self-reflect.
Yes.
And definitely reach out and ask for guidance and feedback, and reassurance, but definitely the self-reflection, helping me to get back on track and to be able to provide that leadership, to serve in that period of time, and to be able to safely bring, my soldiers home.
Absolutely. Wow, that gave me goosebumps, seriously. Like, it is, being able to, first of all, you had to be open.
Right.
To the, first of all, the introspection,
right,
the look at you and how can I become a better leader. That means you have to have an open mind, an open heart, an open spirit to even say, hey, I can do this better.
Right.
And then to be the person who's willing to receive the critique,
right,
and the feedback from others, because sometimes that's hard, right? Sometimes even when you want to grow and you want to be better, it's hard hearing people's opinions and people's input. But I think that's why it's important to have people of wisdom that you go to for that input.
Definitely.
And important that you connect with people who really have your best interests at heart. So I'm sure you weren't just asking any and everybody. You were asking trusted advisors.
Right, exactly.
Right? Because you know that they really are looking out for your best interests. So let's talk about another topic that a lot of women, as they're becoming powerful leaders like you are, struggle with, and that's the sense of fear. Did you struggle with any fears through your journey to becoming this powerful woman?
Definitely. I think that's something that is within us that we have to learn how to control. And I don't want to say suppress, but because sometimes in a situation, fear can drive you to be your best and to be the best leader. But with that being in me, I think the leadership training that I did receive in the military helped me to build a confidence and to be able to face fear, especially during times of adversity, and to be able to channel it so that I could be a better leader. But yeah, definitely. There were quite a few times, like I said, during a combat, in a combat situation where I was afraid. But being in the position that I was in, I couldn't necessarily display that fear.
Yeah.
I wanted my soldiers to know that I was human, but at the same time that I was a competent leader, and that I wasn't going to let fear take control of me. That I could still lead.
Yes, that's what a leader does. Yeah. And a leader, even when you're feeling certain things, it's like as you said, you can't always demonstrate that to everybody else because the people are watching you like, okay, what you gonna do, right? And they're already afraid. So, as you said, a competent leader is the leader that is, I think what you said was pivotal, was face their fears. So you can't run from it. You can't hide from it. You got all these people watching you that you're supposed to be leading. And what's that saying, that leaders create other leaders, not followers? So how do you create other leaders? I think it's through the demonstration of powerful leadership and facing your fear, not running from the fear. So that was pivotal. I'm sure that you guys are absolutely loving this conversation like I am, because it's real talk. It's real things that we face. It doesn't matter if you're in the, what do y'all call us? Oh, civilian world. My husband is ex-Navy. Okay. So it's like, oh, you civilian. So it doesn't matter if you're a civilian or if you're military. We face the same challenges. It doesn't matter what your color, your race, your creed. It doesn't matter. We face very similar challenges as we're moving forward in our lives and being trailblazers and being leaders and impacting the world with our unique gifts. So retirement. Tell us how life shifted for you. 25 years strong.
25 years.
What you do with yourself now? Tell us what you I know that you have this amazing company. Talk about the company. Talk about, how's life so different now outside of military service?
So let me go back, a step back to when I was in the military. I think, being in leadership positions and serving at all organizational levels, not only here in the States, but, overseas, internationally, working with all different types of leaders, witnessing different types of leadership styles. I think I developed the passion in 2004 when I was working on my bachelor's degree in business management. And it clicked to me that, a successful organization is successful because of the leaders. And, leaders that are self-aware, leaders that have a vision, and to be able to lead, their organization through, not only times of adversity, but when times are good, to keep their eyes on that vision. So, witnessing different types of leadership in different types of organization, I felt like I wanted to do more. Not that the military wasn't satisfying to me, but I think I just got to a point at the 25-year mark where I felt like there's something else that I should be doing. And so I made the decision to retire. And when I retired at the end of 2015, I transitioned, was working for a small company as a consultant. And I would say, I owe, my step and leaping out on faith to you, actually.
Really?
I had the honor of being at a speaking engagement that you did, and you talked about your path and your journey, and that was a defining moment for me. Wow. And I realized I transitioned from the military. There is more that I should be doing. I should be sharing this because I do feel like I have a gift. I do, often people will come to me and ask me for leadership advice, and I enjoy doing that. So, listening to you, I realized, this is the moment, and I need to take that step. And so I started my business in 2017 with the vision that I would help the leaders in organizations, have a clear vision or develop their vision, with change management, working with their employees to build an organizational culture that employees want to work in and that they enjoy working in, in a productive atmosphere. So early 2017, I started Strategy Link, and it's a small company, and we've been building ever since.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it goes back to our conversation earlier about taking the first step,
right?
Like just getting started, and sometimes that's
getting over the fear.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. See, we just so aligned. But that's what I was gonna say is sometimes it's just the fear of starting it, and that's why once you start, I feel like you're already 10 steps ahead of most people who never start because fear is like, oh, you might fail. Yeah. Or maybe you will succeed and people will think you're different. Maybe you know what I'm saying? People have people always gonna have an opinion. They're always gonna have input. They're always gonna have a view. But you have to do what's best for you.
Exactly.
And I love that you open yourself up to kind of the question that I encourage every client that I work with to ask themselves, so what's next?
Right.
So you have this amazing career and this amazing journey and all these accolades but that was 25 years in, and you're like, okay, now what's next?
Exactly.
And that you were open to exploring.
Right.
And sometimes you might start off on one path, but I believe you eventually are detoured to exactly where you're meant to be. Again, that's why I tell the story about starting the t-shirt business. That's how I started, but it detoured me into speaking. I didn't know that was going to happen. Like, how you go from t-shirts to speaking?
Yeah,
right.
It's amazing.
Because I believe that things will align with you being in motion and being in movement. So that's fantastic. And I think it's so needed in the corporate space, being able to help them to have vision, to gain clarity, to look at their organizational structure and how do you get people really wanting to come to work and be at work and work and actually work and be productive. Yes. Not just busy. Like, that's important. So if your company, your organization needs that type of training, then you want to make sure you reach out to this amazing woman who clearly has the leadership experience. Come on now. If you can lead people through combat, you can lead me through anything, right? So again, we celebrate you. I celebrate you. I celebrate you for all the service that you've given, the people that you've led out of combat, the people that you've led through their own leadership roles. Like, you are bad Mama Jamma. I just want you to know you are bad Mama Jamma. So tell people how. Still growing.
Still growing.
There's a hashtag that I use. It's called #progress, not perfection. Right? Yeah. Like, we're always a work in progress. It doesn't matter what the goal is. I don't think you ever reach perfection. You're just constantly tweaking and changing things and shifting and pivoting based on what's happening in your life or based on what you decide to explore or open yourself up to. So we're all in that space of being a work in progress. So if someone does want to reach out to you and they want to hire Strategy Link, to come for you to come in and do some consulting and some working with their team, how do they contact you? How do they reach out to you? Okay. And also if your social media profiles as well.
Okay. You can go to my website. It is www.strategylink, and that is strategylink.com. Or you can email me directly, and that's Thela, THELIA, P as in Paul, @strategylink.com. Again, STRATEGYLINC.com, or you can call me at 240-416-9167.
And this will be up on my YouTube channel probably within the next 24 hours or so. So you'll be able to go back if you missed that, and you'll be able to catch it and jot that down so that you can make sure that you connect. Because that's what the show is all about. It's about connecting you to amazing people who are making their impact in the world. And we all have our own lane, right? Our own lane of expertise, our own lane of brilliance. And so if you're looking for someone in the lane of brilliance for leadership, this is who you need to be calling. Again, I can't emphasize enough. I definitely want to do some things with you.
Oh, definitely.
I want to embark upon some collaborative initiatives together, because I just admire anybody who stayed for 25 years. Come on now. 25 years in anything is a long time. You got some perseverance in you.
It was a fast 25 years.
She said it was a fast 25 years. Amen. Hallelujah. Well, bless your heart. And thank you so much again for your service. Guys, make sure that you reach out and connect with her. We're going to take a break, and we're going to move into our second segment of the show with our amazing guest, Janelle Boyd of Completely Yours event. So stay tuned.
We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work, we're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough and now I see. Yeah, I will reach my destiny. Yeah. I don't need your permission. Yes, I'm on a mission. I'll win. Oh, oh, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Because we're going to make some declarations in here today. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me. Say, oh, say I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Hey, yeah. We have powerful words, we have powerful minds. We use our voices
conversation has started with my next guest. Like, first of all, we're so excited to see each other because we don't get to see each other often, and we're both two busy women on the move. None other than Janelle Boyd is in the building. I gotta get like a clapper, you know. Hey. Now, for those of you who have been living under a rock and don't know who she is, let me introduce her. Janelle Boyd is the founder of Completely Yours Events and Design, which is an award-winning, and I do mean award-winning, professional event planning and design firm. Their competitive advantage is simple. They care about your event. And that's true, and I can testify to that because Janelle helped me with a massive event that I did several years ago where I wanted to be the boss and I wanted to do everything. And we'll talk about that in a moment. And I didn't want nobody, that saying, if you want it done right, do it yourself. Lies. Lies. It does not have to be you doing it. If you want it the way you do it, then do it yourself. But if you want it done right, you can hire somebody who know what they're doing. Okay, amen? Now, beyond their passion for their industry, they develop a passion for your event. They are a team of experts in the meeting industry and provide their clients with a slate of new and progressive services along with their solid foundation of meeting management skills built on over 15 years of experience. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Finally, I got you here. Getting Janelle is like... okay,
about as hard as getting Cheryl.
Okay, yeah, let's just agree to that. Exactly, because you all are about to go into wedding season.
Yep, wedding, galas, milestone birthdays, conferences.
They do everything. So let's just let's start at the beginning. Let's start at how long you've been doing this and tell us how you got into this particular industry.
Okay, so first of all, I've been in business now for 8 years.
Congratulations!
It'll be 8 years in June.
Congratulations!
June 2nd. So sometimes it feels longer than that.
Yes, I get it. I still get that.
Right, but it's been a wonderful ride. Like any other entrepreneurial journey, it's had its ups and downs. But I love what I do, and I can't fathom doing anything else.
Yeah.
I really can't. Even on days when I'm like, why am I doing this? I have to ask myself, okay, well, if you weren't, what would you be doing?
Girl, that's
right?
such a good question.
And
what you gonna go back to?
Right, and the only answer I can ever come up with is driving everybody crazy. Right. So that's not an option according to my husband. So I think I am in the right.
You're in the right.
I'm in the right lane.
Yes. That's so true. I have the same. I mean, this gonna be this next segment, this last segment right here, gonna be real talk.
Yes.
Because that's what we do.
We keep it real.
Yeah, we keep it real. It's like some days you be like, what in the world did I sign up for? But then you realize, you do ask yourself, okay, what else am I going to go to? Like, this is what I keep, when you keep coming back to the same thing.
Right.
And that when you are really in your zone, that you just love it so much. Of course, everything is going to have a challenge.
Right.
But when you keep coming back to that core thing, like, that's your gift and that's what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
That's right. So we are a team of, it started off just myself and my husband and my mom. Again, she said, we're going to keep it real.
Yes.
And so then it grew to, I had to, they stopped working for ham sandwiches. So I had to, actually acquire a team. And so now we are 5 strong. I love my team. Shout out to my team, Cheryl.
Yes, Cheryl Bruce
Christina,
is watching. Hey, Cheryl Bruce.
And Allison, Maisha, Dominique, those are my girls. So yes, we, and everybody, it's like, when you find your niche within a business, everybody understands their role. Like everybody, it really truly is a team effort because we all contribute something different to every event.
Yes.
So it takes each and every one of us to come in, put our thinking caps on, and get it done. But we all gel and we love what we do, so we work together to make it the best for our client.
Yeah, but so let's this conversation gonna be all over the place. So just prepare yourselves because you're gonna say things that's gonna like
keep me on track.
I can't help it. Okay, so you all gel, but 2 questions. Have you gone through people that you didn't gel with that just wasn't a good fit? And I know personally, as a business owner, you come into business because you want to do what you want to do, right? And you want to do it your way. I don't like nobody telling me what to do, what not to do, whatever, right? So was it a challenge embracing other people's ideas, opinions, thoughts?
Right.
All that.
Right.
I want you to talk about both those things.
Right. So, so I'll answer the first question. Have we had people come into the fold who did not fit? Absolutely.
Some cray-crays. Every once in a while, a cray-cray slip through.
Everybody needs to understand you will get some craze to get to the greats. Okay.
Yes.
And so yes, you have to weed through that. You quickly find out who wants to really be there to contribute, to help the vision of the company, of the business grow.
Yes.
And you find out who's there just to get what they want to get and move on, you know. I've never let either one detour me because I feel like those who come for a reason and are only there for a season, they're going to move on and that's okay, right? But those who come and they stay and they plant roots and they want to be there and they show that they want to be there because they see something in you and they see something in the vision, those people, you know, I take them in and I'm like, this is what this is all about. So I just trust the process. I trust that, you know what, the ones who aren't supposed to be, they'll get.
That's right.
They'll weed themselves out. And the ones who are supposed to be, they'll be there. You know.
Yeah. I love that. Trust the process. Let's do that hashtag. Hashtag trust the process, y'all. It is a process.
Yes,
you're right.
It
Trust the
is
process.
absolutely. And so to your other question, right? I'm gonna be real.
Yes, be real.
Okay?
Be transparent.
So yes, I am a recovering, have it my way or no way type of boss. Okay, but I have since recovered, like I said, and my team has helped me in that process. You know, because it's your baby. It really is. When you first start, it's your baby. It is literally what you sleep, eat, and breathe. You know, just like a child, just like my two boys. I feel like this is my third child. And so because of that, it's really hard to let go. It really is. But what it comes down to is either you let go or you don't grow.
Oh, that's so good. What do Oprah say? That's a tweetable. Either you let go or you don't grow.
Right.
That's a powerful statement. Either you let go, you got to release some stuff to receive some things, or you don't grow.
Absolutely. And that's really where I found myself, Cheryl, was like, hey, listen, you keep talking about how you exhausted trying to do everything yourself.
God,
you keep talking about how, you know, you don't have no quality of life, you know, and can't do the things you want to do. You keep talking about how you wish you had people who, well, guess what? You have them, but you're not utilizing them. You're not letting them come into your space, and you're not empowering them so that they can grow too.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's where I was, and like I said, my team, you know, they come to Jesus like, look, we waiting on you to get yourself together.
Right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right so we can run this business for real.
Right.
That's so true. You know what? And with that thought, I got to stop and just give a huge shout out to my assistant, Nika Corbett, because she was, even with her, I'm like, okay, why did I hire her?
Right.
If I didn't think that she was a person who could handle the job, and why am I still doing stuff? Why am I still making the phone calls? Why am I still, because I wouldn't release. She was ready for it.
Right.
She was ready to receive. She was ready to walk into her gift, but I was basically hindering her from growing, her growth, because I was holding on to everything. Just like when I hired y'all to come to the event at the stadium. I was like, oh, no, I got it.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Yes, I want to do everything. Girl, come down to the day of the event. I was like, Janelle, girl, I need help. Now I want to release some stuff.
We were like, no problem, but we already saw it coming before you did, so we good.
And I love that about you and your company, is that you anticipated that.
Right.
Because you probably dealt with some cray-crays like me before who felt like we could do it all, but you know that you cannot do it all. And I do think that's a sign of growth in business.
Yes.
When you are willing to release. and realize, I don't have to do it all. I shouldn't be doing it all.
That's right.
And like you said, you hear yourself repeating the same things over and over again. I don't have enough time, and you know, I can't. My husband and I can't get a date night, and I can't this and I can't that. Well, whose fault is that?
Right.
And sometimes you have to just be honest with yourself and acknowledge that it's you. You are the problem.
Right.
And be open.
And the solution.
Absolutely. So what did you do before you got into the event planning and design? And then talk about like your startup. Like now you're this powerhouse and you're getting all these awards and you're everywhere and you're running these amazing events. And I love seeing the growth. But talk about what you did before then, how you transitioned into this, and talk about the startup years.
Sure. So, the crazy years. She was talking about the crazy years. So before I started the business, I was actually in corporate America. I worked in corporate America for a large entity. They did senior living, assisted living, independent living, Alzheimer's care. That's what they did. And I was the director of marketing, like marketing and fundraising, as a part of my last stint. Because before that, I was doing sales and marketing. I've always been in some type of sales and marketing throughout my entire professional career. I guess I like to run my mouth a lot. But I moved to the D.C. area because their corporate headquarters was in McLean, Tyson's, Virginia. And so I moved here, packed my stuff up, told my husband, come on now, we moving.
Where were you coming from?
I was coming from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta. I didn't know that.
That's where I grew up.
I did not know
Yes.
that. All of this time.
Yes, girl.
Atlanta girl.
I'm a peach.
She's a peach.
So, we packed up all our stuff, you know. Wow. My husband was on board. He was like, if this is what you want to do, shout out to my hubby, because Lord,
yes, amen.
Lord knows he done let me traipse him all over this God green earth.
Girl, that's a whole other conversation.
Right, okay.
Some of the stuff I embarked upon, my husband like, okay, wait, so you're not an event planner no more, now you speaking.
Right.
You ain't selling Mary Kay this week, you
right, okay. And just
shout
always like, go get him.
Yes. Shout out to husbands who stick with us until we get it figured out.
Yes, even though that's not what they walked into.
Yes.
So we moved up here, and lo and behold, like literally 3 months after we got here, I had a conversation with my VP, and she explained that, you know what, today's going to be your last day.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Literally. I mean, and I'm sorry, and the conversation was by phone, so we weren't in person or anything like that.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine that? You've uprooted the whole family. Oh, my God. I can't even imagine the conversation that you were going to have to go home and have with your husband.
And have with my husband, right. Like, I have no job anymore, and this is why we moved here, was for this job, right? Wow. So needless to say, I was shocked, because even at, I don't know, I was like 25 then, even at that age, I kind of was very career oriented and knew that I wanted to stay with that company. Wow. Like, I'd already been with them for like 6-7 years, and I was like, you know, I'm going to stay with them until I retire.
Yeah. Right.
So glad that we grow up.
Right.
So it was a devastating blow, you know, not only to my mental, but it was just like, wow, like I can be let go just like that.
Yes.
So I remember, like, just like it was yesterday, my husband coming in from work, and I'm like literally in my room with a box of tissues under the bed and like sobbing, and he's like, oh, what is going on here?
Right,
like, first, why are you home? B,
why you home kind of early?
Right. Okay, like, why are you home and in the bed?
Right.
Are you sick? Like, what's the problem? I'm just, I got something to tell you, you know. And so I told him, you know, that I had been let go. And I'll never forget his response to me, because I'm ready for him to be like, what? Yeah. Oh my God. You know, my husband is very rational, like most men. He's very rational, legit, like, you know, he analyzes everything, and it's all about what makes sense.
Yeah.
And so his response was, okay, so now what you gonna do?
Wow.
Like, what's next?
Yep. We just said that in the last segment. So what's next question?
Right.
That's powerful.
And I'm like, okay, maybe you didn't hear me.
Right.
Like,
I need you to freak out with me. Okay? Right. That's not what I expected to hear from you. Yeah.
And he's like, no, I heard you, but obviously it was time for this door to close.
Wow.
So what's next for the next door to open? And I mean, part of me wanted to like chuck a shoe at him, because I'm like, okay, you need to come to my grieving point where I am right now. But another part of me, thank God that he was the rational one at that moment.
Yes.
Because both of us couldn't have been over the edge like I was.
So true.
Yeah.
How that just sometimes balances itself out. I will never forget, I was at a breaking moment in my journey to transition from corporate America into full-time entrepreneurship. I had actually made the transition, right? And things were not going well. Like, I wasn't making no money, okay? None. Like, I was still getting the ham sandwich.
Right.
And I was just like, because people will love you when you're free. But as soon as you put a price tag on it, you're like, cricket, you don't hear nobody, ain't nobody calling you, the phone not ringing. You're like, what the hell, what's going on?
Right.
Like, and I remember being at a point where I was in this moment of just desperation. And it was like one of my darkest moments, because we were so broke. And I was like, this is ridiculous. You know, I had money and no time to spend with my kids and be the mother I wanted to be. Now I had all the time in the world, no daggone money.
No money, right.
And I was like, and I can't buy my kids nothing, and I can't even take them for an ice cream cone. All of this. That's what I said. Because I'm chasing some dream. That is exactly the words I said. And I remember being in tears, like, feeling like I was broken. And my husband was just like, and my husband, who is a pessimist, I just gotta say it, he will find the dark side. But in that moment, he was the optimist. And he was just like, look, somebody in this house gonna live their dream. You did not come this far to go back now. No, we gonna figure this thing out. I was like, what have you done with my husband?
Right, where is he?
Where is he? Under the table. But it's so amazing how I believe God will work things out and bring you exactly what you need when you need it to wake you up, snap you out of that dark moment that you might be in that dark season. And in your season, clearly your husband was, and even in that season for me, that dark moment my husband was. So again, we got to shout out our husbands. What's your husband's name?
Matthew Boyd.
Is it Doctor?
Excuse me.
Can you please give him
Dr.
credit?
Matthew
Dr.
Boyd.
Matthew.
Okay, 'cause I don't want no backlash later.
Right. Shouting out Dr. Matthew, and shouting out my amazing husband James Wood for hanging in there with us throughout our crazy and our evolving and exploring and figure out who we're really meant to be. So you have that moment, and where do you go from there?
So from there, I got quiet, Cheryl, and you know, I am very deep rooted. Those that know me, I'm very deep rooted in my faith. My relationship with God is everything to me. I do not make any qualms about that. Like, I know that there are things that he has done and that where places he has brought me that I cannot take credit for. So, you know, so I really had to get quiet and listen, because I've always been in control of things. And I believe that was his way of showing me, you got to let go so that I can take you where I need you.
The master plan.
The master plan.
The master's plan. It ain't your plan.
Come on now.
Period.
Come on now.
I mean, it just is what it is, and we do think we're in control.
Yes.
And I got this, and I'm going to get the next contract, and I'm going. No, you ain't. You look. You just following the steps.
The steps.
He leaves.
Right.
You really are not in
like,
control of
you
anything.
cute. You think you're doing something right now. That's cute.
Exactly. That is so true. And then you get to a place where certain doors of opportunity, and you know, ain't nothing you did. You ain't got that much juice.
Right.
I don't have that much juice to be able to get the opportunities.
Nothing. None of that. You hear me?
So yeah.
Yes.
Powerful.
So he and that's where I gained clarity that, you know what, some of the things that you were doing in your corporate position were hosting events, and those were the things that I was really enjoying.
Yeah.
And so it really came to me that, why don't you go and do this for yourself? Like, that is exactly the conversation God and I had. Like, it's time for you to venture out on your own.
Yes.
I know I brought you here. You don't know anybody. Because, again, we had just moved here.
You're like 3 months in.
3 months in. Didn't know, nobody.
Wow.
But I said, okay, if that's where you're leading me, then that's where I'm going to go. And I ran it past the hubby, and he was like, do it. Like, it sounds like something you would excel at, so do it.
I remember that. I remember your start.
Yes, because we met very shortly after I had started.
But I had no idea that all of that behind the scenes is going on.
Wow.
It's so funny. I mean, so we connected, but I remember you being at that place where you were like, oh, I'm going out on my own. And again, I didn't know the background behind it, but I was like, all right, cool. And to see how far God has brought you now, I mean, you just did the event in Atlanta.
Yes.
First of all, anybody who takes an event outside of their neighborhood, their zip code, I mean, just saying, I celebrate that because that's scary.
Yeah,
it's scary to host an event,
right?
But it's even scarier to host it in a place that's not your, where you live at.
Where you live at.
You hoping folks show up.
But can I share with you?
Yes,
because she doesn't even know this, but the whole reason I did the conference in Atlanta is because of a speech that you gave about getting out of your backyard.
Wow. Hashtag get on an airplane.
Get it right. Airplane, boat, ferry, whatever. Because this woman said you are playing too small if you are playing in a pond and not the ocean.
Yes.
And I remember her words very clearly, and that was the catalyst for the catapult for
that is
us,
I got
us to go for
seriously, I got chill bumps. I mean, and then just to see, do we have somebody on the line? Okay, just to see the success of the event. Like I saw the pictures on Facebook, and I was just like, I tell you guys oftentimes I'm at home like cheering. My family think I'm crazy. I'm like, you better do. I'm yelling at the computer screen because I can't always stop and call everybody. Hey, girl, you did it. But I'm just so happy when I see women who are putting in the work, putting in the time, putting in the effort, and they are winning. Like, how can you not be happy for somebody? Right. And you know what it takes to win.
To do it.
You know how much work, how much time and effort and energy and logistics and girl, it
made my head
hurt. And to get with the caliber of people that you had, I think you had Diane Valentine.
Yes, it was amazing. Oh my gosh.
So I've been watching this show called Something Rome.
To Rome for Love. Yes, shout out to Diane Valentine. To Rome for Love.
Yeah, I don't get to watch a lot of TV, but I swear I love that little show.
Yes.
That was really good. I was like, that's the lady that speaking at Janelle's.
She's amazing, and again, talk about somebody who is out there blazing trails. And that's why you never know who's watching you, because I look up to somebody like that who is, has years in the game, years in this industry, but yet she is still relevant, still growing her own brand, and so it's like, that's why you have to know that A, people are watching you when you do things, and B, you are bringing other people along with you. The higher you go this way, the more you should be pulling people up this way.
Even if they never tell you.
Yes.
Because that's the key. A lot of times you don't know because people don't verbalize it. But you really are.
Yes.
There are so many women who I took a chance to do something because I saw them take a chance.
Right.
Like Doreen Rainey, I always use her as a prime example. I will never forget going to the Get Radical conference that she used to host in the Virginia region. And I was like, that last conference, I think it was the last conference, and I spoke there. But I just remember sitting in the audience and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my own 2-day conference, and I'm going to have over 200 women in the room who come from all across the U.S. And I was so scared when I said it, but it was seeing her demonstrate it.
Exactly.
That gave me permission to believe that I could do it.
Yes. It's the possibility. It's the possibility, because if you don't see it in the flesh, like if you don't see it done, then in your mind, you're like, it's not possible. But then as soon as you see it, you're like, it is possible.
And so talk about that, because here's what I see a lot of times women will do. So they will see somebody who does something similar to what they do, and they'll be like, oh, she copying me. People need to be original. And I really kind of hate seeing that on Facebook and social media, because isn't that why you do what you do? Like to inspire somebody else to believe that they can do it. So talk about that whole concept of, because I assume you have people who come through your training, people who might be a part, and they decide to do their own thing. How do you embrace that as that's not them copying me, that's me inspiring them?
Right. And I think it's literally what you just said. You're inspiring somebody to operate and show up at their best, their best, show up as their best selves. And so because they're showing up as their best selves, they can't be you too. Right? So I'm like, it cracks me up when people are like, oh my God, she's doing, like, I had that idea, and then here she go with that idea. So now I can't do that idea. Why?
Right.
Like, why can't you do that idea?
Yeah.
It's your idea. Yes, it might be similar because there is nothing new under the sun. Like, I just want to be clear about that.
Yes.
Even in, we listen to music nowadays and we're like, oh, that beat sounds similar to like the Temptations.
Girl.
But the Temptations aren't like, oh my God, they stole my beat. Like, no, because you're going to put your own spin on it. It's still going to be authentically you because it's coming from you. It is like DNA. Nobody's DNA is the same.
Absolutely.
Nobody's.
Yeah.
You might have some similar characteristics in your DNA, that make you relate, make you connected to that person, right? And make you guys family. But you're not the same.
Yeah.
You're
My sister
not.
and I are twins. We were in the same sack and we still don't have the same DNA.
Exactly.
So come on, nobody has your
Nobody
DNA.
has the same. And I think for somebody to look at you and say, oh, I can do that because I saw her do that. Yeah. I believe that is the highest compliment.
Absolutely. It's a testament to how you can impact the world by being in motion.
Yes.
As you said, just constantly being in motion and continuing to move forward because you're pulling somebody else up even when you don't know it.
Yeah.
Even when they don't click like on what you're doing or they don't respond or comment to what you're doing, people are watching you. Mm-hmm. And like the guest that we just had, Thelia Puryear, I had no idea that she heard me speak at a conference for federally employed women, and she's like, she just said that on I didn't even know her. I didn't know her personally before today.
Right.
Like, I just knew she was booked on a show. But for her to sit here and say it was because of something that you said in a speech back 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, and that is what allowed me to retire from the military and start my own business.
Wow.
Like, people are always watching, and you have more power with your story and with the demonstration of you moving into your gift than you know, even when you don't hear it or people don't verbalize it in that moment. But to have somebody come a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, like, did you know that? Because you said X, Y, Z, or I heard you say this, and it's such a testament to what we can do. Let's talk about the B word.
Oh Lord, what's the B word? Uh-oh.
The B word that I don't like called balance.
Oh.
I call it harmony.
Yes,
because I don't know
like,
balance.
I don't like balance
right?
either. Yeah.
So how do you create harmony? Now
I call it prioritize.
Yes.
So I got my 4-year-old and then the 18-month-old who looks like a 3-year-old.
So you are a wife and you're managing that and nurturing your marriage. I saw that you and your husband went on a date night. I was like, bless their hearts, they got a date night. Yes. And then you have the 4-year-old and the 18-month-old.
Yes.
How do you create harmony between marriage, family and raising kids, business, and put you on the list?
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, that's a 4-part
can we just take that and move that to the front?
Amen.
Can we take that and move that to the front? Because Cheryl, you and I both know when you put you last, everybody else is going to suffer. Yes. Like, nothing runs the way it needs to. But when you put you first, everything flourishes.
But you know how we struggle so much with that as women? Like, there's this level of guilt. Even when I go, let's say I'm going to another city or state, right? I have struggled with the guilt of, okay, how dare me be here at this nice hotel without my kids, and I'm ordering room service. I'm getting steak and lobster while the kids probably home with my husband eating hot dogs and beans. And like, how do you get to that place? Because I know there are a lot of women who are watching through Facebook, through VoxWave.com. How do you get to that place of not feeling guilt about putting you first?
Yeah, I struggled with that a lot at first. I think what helped me is when I learned how to start compartmentalizing things. When I started having some conversations, and I spoke about this at one of my mentees, Latasha Briscoe, at her conference that she recently had.
I
know we were on different different days.
You were like Friday and I was Sunday.
On Sunday, and I hated I missed you too. But I really believe that once I started breaking things into segments. And what I mean by that is understanding that if I know my high peak season is June to, let's say, August, right? Then I know that that is a time that I'm going to be completely focused on my business, our clients. Like, mommy's going to be going hard in her business lane with her business hat on. Yeah. And so for me, it's understanding that, A, I've got to have some conversations. So that means I've got to have some conversations with my husband. Like, hey, babe, listen, these months are when it is going to be cray-cray. Yep. So I'm going to have the business hat on. I got to do what I need to do. It doesn't mean I'm not present, but it means that the business is the priority during that time. Yep. So you got to allow me to let that be the priority. What that also means is that I have a responsibility to also identify when the priority is my family. So if I know that there are important things that my husband expects me to show up for, like he knows that Sundays are sacred. They are family time, hands down. Same here. I don't care what you're doing. Don't book nothing. Don't place nothing. No calls, no nothing. Then I understand that Sundays, my family is a priority. I have my mommy hat on. I have my wife hat on. The business hat is off. Yes. But that's also been communicated. Yes. Same thing with my kids. Even though they're 4 and 18 months, which people are like, really? I'm like, yes. I have a conversation with my 4-year-old. Where do you want mommy to show up? What is important to you? So that I know how to meet his expectations as well, as far as where he wants me and when he needs me. And outside of that, he's okay because I have that conversation. Listen, I'm going to have to go here. I might have to go to a conference here. And plus, he likes getting his goodies when I come back from the conference. That's okay, mommy. Just bring me back my goodies from your conference.
Fine. The kids are fine. It's the husbands more than anything. The kids be like, all right, mommy, we love you. See ya.
See you when you get back. But I found that having those conversations and learning how to prioritize has helped me to make sure that they're okay when I need to be focused on other things. You know?
I think the communication part is so key. You're right. I mean, even me, it took me a long time to get to this place, but now I sit my husband down with the calendar and I'm like, babe, we need to talk. And he always like, what? And I'm like, no, we need to talk about my schedule because this is what's coming up. And like I'm going to be gone in another week, which I got to make sure I give Ron the replay for the show. But I'm going to be gone in Naples, Florida for a retreat. And we just got back. Like, we just got back from Africa, and then I was in St. Louis speaking, and now you're talking about another week, I'm going to be gone again for almost a week. And I was like, we need to talk, babe. We need to talk. And I'm like, look, this is what I need to do. This is why I need to be there. You know, like, this isn't just some, I'm going to hang out just because. No, this is intentional. This is strategic. You know. And he's like, look, you know what? You done worked this hard. You doing whatever you doing is working. Let's keep it working. But it took a long time for us to get to there because I wasn't communicating effectively.
Exactly.
And I wasn't, like, I would wait until
the day before.
Girl. Come on, babe, you know, I told you I'm going to be gone for like the weekend. He like, no, you did not tell me. Because I was afraid of the confrontation that might happen because now I'm leaving you home with 3 kids. And you got to get, and typically that's on me. It's on me. I'm packing snacks, I'm packing lunch, I'm dropping them off and picking them up. So when I'm gone, yes, that's an inconvenience in my household. So now I just learn how to communicate that in advance. And really be like, look, this is why, this is what, you know, and now if I'm going to get a check, ain't no conversation. He don't even care.
Bye.
See when we get back. See when we get back. But if it's something where I'm like building relationships, and it's you know it's strategic to place me in a certain place in my business, then that's a different conversation.
And it's also in the preparation, right? So it's like the same thing, you know, the same thing that I had to realize that I don't like when, you know, when it's done to me. So I don't like for people to pop up stuff on my, you know, on my calendar or on me. Because I'm like, no, if it wasn't on my calendar, then it doesn't exist, right? So I'm like, okay, I have to be courteous and mindful of that for my husband as well. So I need to make sure, like you said, you know, a week in advance or how many ever in advance. We also, on our calendars, we sync them. So that way, if I put a calendar invite on there, I can add him to it, and then it'll pop up for him, and he'll see, okay, she's going to be here, you know? So it's like doing things like that that shows them that you are preparing, but you're also being mindful of it as well, I think helps with that communication piece.
Yeah, and that word preparation is key, because that's another thing that I go out of my way to do. If I know I'm going to be gone, I do everything in my power to prep so that it's as little inconvenience on him as possible. So when I know I'm gone for 5 days, the kids' snacks is packed for 5 days. Like, I have that stuff organized, it's laid out. I make sure there's, their uniform and stuff is ready so that it's not as much of
it's not as much of a hustle.
Yes. And so it is important that we put ourselves in their shoes. And for me, and for you, my husband didn't marry me as an entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur. I was a chick with a job and benefits. I went to work and I came home. Now it's like, oh, babe, I'm gonna be gone for 2 more days, and I'm gonna be traveling for 5 days, and it's like, okay, you changed the game. Now, how would you feel if he changed the game? And he gone for 5 days and you at home with the kids? Like, so I always try to put myself in his shoes for sure. Then what about you? What about you, Tom? Like, what do you do for you, Tom?
Yeah, so for me, I love working out. I actually enjoy working out. It's a release for me.
Absolutely.
Like just getting in the gym, throwing some stuff around, whatever. Yeah. So I'm like, you can't, it's not right to throw people, so I throw weights, But so I like going to the gym, but I also like, just getting outside. I love going and doing things like, just going for a walk, So doing stuff going to the movies, like I'm a big movie buff, but doing stuff just for me. Even going to get my nails and my feet done sometimes is just a huge, and getting my hair done. We like to, feel pretty, absolutely. Like dote on ourselves a little bit. And I find that when I take a day to do those things, I am in such a better mood. And again, I show up as my best self in every aspect of my life, as a mommy, as a wife, as a business owner, as a friend, as a daughter, everything.
Yeah. And so as we wrap that conversation up about self-care, I think it's also important because, I forgot it was another woman who helped me to realize that, especially for me because I have a daughter, I am passing down, this concept of, do you put yourself first or do you put yourself last? Without saying it, it's my example. I'm now passing down some type of generational practice. So
of what she should do.
Yes. And I don't have to say it. She's going to do what I do. Not
from
what
watching
I said.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's so funny because Jayana and I were having this conversation recently because she's prepping for her 8th grade. They do an 8th grade prom now.
Oh, wow.
So she's prepping for an 8th grade graduation and 8th grade prom. And we were talking about, I was trying to teach her how to walk in, these little heels, right? And she's like, well, Mommy, it just feels so uncomfortable. But you know why it feels uncomfortable? Because we are always rushing. I'm like this. I move like this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time to be switching down the road, let me take. So she moves like this because I move like this. And it was just such an aha moment the other day when we were in the store. And I was like, Jayana, I need you to know that as a woman, sometimes it's okay to slow down and just be in all of your femininity and just switch and take as long as it takes you to get there. Like, that was a real awakening for me that she has developed from me. The idea that life always moves like this. So sometimes we do have to just stop and just say, what am I passing down through my behaviors?
Right. What type of habits?
Yeah. And what is she learning from me? Am I spending enough time taking care? Somebody's calling us in the middle of the show. Am I spending enough time taking care of me and showing her self-care so that she gets that's a vital part of her life as well?
Good.
And I'm teaching my boys that's the expectation for their wives.
For the wives, exactly.
Look, give your wife some time to herself. Let her go to the gym. Let her go get pampered. So it really is, you're passing down patterns and behaviors, and it's important that we take care of us. So let's talk about real life business. Like, what are some of the biggest challenges you feel like you face being, especially transitioning from corporate into full-time? Like, now so I think there's one thing when you first start out in business. Yeah. And
especially if you're still working your 9 to 5 and working your business as well, which I did for a while.
Right, especially that startup phase though. I almost feel like when you start, there is not much of an expectation because you're starting. So people see you and they're like, okay, they're watching. But then you get in and you're considered seasoned, and then people have expectations. So talk about some of the challenges you face, talk about expectation in business and how that shifts and changes as you're in business longer, and how you address and deal with those things.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I mean, I've often said like being the new kid on the block is actually better.
Oh my God,
it's
being, so much easier.
Than being, you know, kind of the middle school kid, which is what I call it, because I'm like I feel I haven't graduated high school yet. I'm not claiming that just yet. I'm still the middle school kid, just trying to, you know, trying to see.
A couple more years for high
trying
school.
to see what I want to be. But I do think, you know, after you've been in business a couple of years, and like you said, you starting to create this brand, you know, people are aware that you are out here, and they are aware of what you produce or provide. Then all of a sudden, yes, there is kind of a expectation for you to keep that moving, you know, and keep that up, you know, keep that brand solidified, you know, and the way to do that is through what you're doing in your business, right? So I do believe it gets tougher because it's odd, but we had this conversation, DC Wedding Week, we had this conversation for, you know, kind of for the industry, and we talked about, well, what happens when you become more seasoned in your business, but yet there are newbies, so to speak, that are coming into the business and they're coming up behind you, and you know, you're, especially with us being in this kind of social media driven world where everything feels like lightning speed fast. How do you sustain and how do you you know, how do you sustain, but also how do you handle those that are coming behind you? You're like, do you have an obligation to, like, what do you do? And so one of the things that I shared was, I do believe that in any season of your business, whether new or mid-tier or, you know, seasoned, you have to constantly be willing to innovate. You have to constantly be willing to understand how do I continue to show up, yes, as my brand, but in different ways. Like, you can reintroduce yourself a million times as an entrepreneur and as a business, right? But you can't rely on just one thing to do that for you. True. Like, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Absolutely. And so I think that is probably the hardest part for us as entrepreneurs. But we could learn a lot from watching some of these bigger businesses and bigger brands who are out here doing that. You know, Beyonce does it very well, despite what people want to say. She does it very well. Apple does it very well. They have reinvented themselves time and time again. I mean, everybody is running around with a watch now that is a mini computer. Who would have thought, you know? So I think it's up to us as business owners to understand, how do I do that for myself? How do I do that for my brand? You know? And I think it's scary. So sometimes we've gotten comfortable, right? You and I have had this conversation. we're like, but I don't wanna, you know, because you're like, you work so hard on building
getting to this point.
You're like, and now you told me I gotta do what?
Exactly. So, and sometimes it can be scary because, I don't know if scary is the word that I want to use, but sometimes it can be intimidating. Because you have worked so hard to establish a certain level of credibility in your business, and now you're like, okay, why isn't this good enough?
Right.
Why isn't everything that I've done to get here good enough to sustain me? And it's just because the world is constantly changing, like you said. And so you have to change and shift and pivot along with it, and constantly reinvent and constantly introduce new things and constantly be creative. Like, that's how you stay alive. I always think about Blockbuster and Netflix, and I'm like, who would have thought that Netflix would have come in and just completely wiped Blockbuster out? But Blockbuster, clearly, they were egotistical, like, no, we got this. We've been doing this for how many years?
People come here on Friday nights, they want their movies, they're going to have their movie night.
And that's and that is such a prime example of not reinventing and how you will get left behind and wiped out. If you do not stay relevant and find ways to be creative and introduce new things.
Kmart, Walmart.
Yeah, can you believe? right? It's
I can remember going to Kmart
Blue Light
all
Special,
the
right?
time
Me
as a
too.
kid.
Me too.
All the time.
Me too. Circuit City is gone. I don't know who took over Circuit City.
Yes.
Who's doing Circuit City stuff now?
Nobody.
Nobody.
I don't know.
You just order it online. I mean,
right.
things are constantly changing. I mean, look at the malls
Yes.
now. Like, I go to a mall, like, is this even a mall? Because it's like everybody orders things online. It's not even the same. I went to, this was probably a year ago, I went to the mall and there was no bookstore. Not one bookstore was in the mall.
Right.
I could not believe, and this was like Annapolis Mall, which is huge.
Because you can
And I
order
was
it
like,
online. Yes.
So you do have to stay relevant and you have to stay forward thinking. And I think that leads to my next question about keeping yourself around other people who are forward thinking and who are creative and constantly, not allowing themselves to get comfortable. Talk about that, the importance of who's in your circle. So that you continue to stretch yourself.
Yes, yes. I think that, that's huge. I mean, one of the ways I have always looked at trying to do that is just making sure, and it goes back to us kind of giving that, giving that kudos to those who have come before us and, wanting to be in their circle so that you can absorb, just absorb some of, like you said, some of that creativity, that knowledge. But you do have to be willing to put yourself in circles, in places where you don't know anything. Like like maybe you're the person who knows the least in that room. And again, going back to the word intimidating and uncomfortable, I think that's why we don't do it all the time. It's because we're like, oh, I don't know nothing.
I ain't got nothing in
I
common
don't have
with them.
nothing
They
in
know so much
common.
more than
right,
me.
right.
Yes.
I can remember just last year, I literally jumped on a plane, went down to Texas. You remember this. Went down to Texas to a big old conference hosted by Sandra Yancey. Thousands of women, didn't know a single person in the room, not a single one. But I said, no, I'm going because these are women who are entrepreneurs, like-minded.
Yes.
They are, some of them, already out here doing things that I aspire to do.
Yes.
And so I want to be in the room. Like, I want to be in the room just so that I can soak up the energy, the knowledge, make some relationships, connections. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And yes, that was uncomfortable. Yes, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to just introduce myself to whoever will talk to me.
Exactly.
But I was willing to do it
Yes.
so that I can, so that again, I can make sure that I'm putting myself in those rooms just like you put yourself in the rooms that, where you maybe do know people as well.
So you got to be willing to go into the room where you don't shine as the diamond in the room.
That's right.
The same way you do when everybody know your name and know who you are.
Right.
And you're right, that is very intimidating to go into a space where they're more successful than you. They doing way bigger things than you. But I think, how do you become aware of what's possible if you don't put yourself in those rooms?
That's right.
Like, I put myself in some rooms where I'm just like, oh my God, I'm still playing small. Like, if you're not going into those spaces, you are cheating yourself of what growth, forward movement and growth really looks like. Because how do you know, like we talked about earlier, unless you see a model of it, how do you know that, oh my God, I'm still playing small, unless you see somebody, a woman in business who only been in business for 3 years and she already at 2 million.
Killing it.
4.4 million. How do you know that you're playing small? You're like, oh snap, I got to go home and I got to get to work.
Get my
Because
weight
this is
up.
some frag-a-naggle bull and I'm not making 4.4 million, right? And you start to reassess and reanalyze and get creative. And that's why I put myself in those spaces, because sometimes you don't even know what you don't know.
Right.
Until you get and you listen to the
Exactly.
conversation, you're like, oh, it's a whole nother level to
Right.
this thing.
Or you think that because your processes and your things are working well,
Right.
that's the only way.
Right.
And then you see somebody who is doing it a different way, but getting better results.
Yeah.
So just because it works doesn't mean it can't get better.
That's right. It just goes right back to that word you used earlier, which is possibilities. What's possible? How can I shift? How can I do this different? How can I do it better? How can I grow this from where it is right now? I cannot believe we have talked for this whole segment and we're down to like our last 5 minutes.
What?
Like, I'm
No
like,
way.
no way.
I thought you said we had an hour. You
Much.
tricked me.
I know. It's been a whole hour that we've been chit-chatting here. And people are like, hey, Janelle, thank you ladies for continuously feeding me. That's from Alice. Alice Nixon Harris.
Hey, Alice.
And then, Aletha says change with the times.
Yes.
Hey, Roz Jones, thanks for being here. Hi, Deborah Harrison, thanks for being here on Facebook. Tracy, thanks for being here. Sherry, how are you? Elisa Harney, thanks so much, guys, for being here. This has been an amazing conversation, just real talk. So tell us about what's coming up for you, what's next for you, like how are you moving forward and trailblazing, continuing to trailblaze?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, there's some things I can tell and there's some things I can't.
Because then she had to take me out.
But no, we got some exciting things coming up. First, our conference, the one we had in Atlanta, the Planner Suite Conference. So for 2019, we're headed to Orlando.
Wow. I'm so proud of you.
Yes,
That's awesome.
yes, so excited about that. I tease my team. I'm like, we're finally getting some island vibes. We're not at an island yet, but we finally getting some island vibes. You know, we can close our eyes, squint our eyes, and it'll look like an island. But
I love it.
I'm really excited. We're having it at the Luxmore Grand Estate down there, which is owned by the fabulous Tamuel Coward, and it's a quaint property, but it's gorgeous. It's a lakeside property. Just really excited about all of the feedback we've been getting. People are excited to be there. We've got an amazing speaker lineup that we are just starting to announce, and there is more to come. Stay tuned. And so that is, if you want to be there, you desire to be there, I encourage you to be there, and you're a planner trying to get your business together, and you need some, rejuvenation, some determination, then please meet us there. It's plannersuite.com. You can find out all the information you need to there and get registered because it's going to sell out.
Yes. Okay.
And she knows because she's spoken twice.
Right. And that's not just a ploy to get you to buy a ticket. Like, it will sell out. It's sold out. It's sold out every year. So it will sell out. You want to get your tickets early in advance.
Yes.
At the Planner Suite?
Planner Suite.
Oh,
just
plannersuite.com. Plannersuite.com. And what part of Florida?
Orlando,
Florida, you guys. So, check it out now. Don't wait. And then don't be one of those people who are like, I'm going to get to it. And then you look up and it's sold out.
Right.
And now you mad because you can't get to it.
Or they inbox and like, do you have any
Right. You got any extra tickets? No. We sold out. You should have bought it 6 months ago. So I love that. That's fantastic. And then where do you, in addition to the conference, what's next for Janelle? What's next for the team? What's next for Completely Yours events?
So we're excited. We've got some great events, happening this year. We're doing some work with some great organizations like Inova that we're working with this year. It's such a blessing. We've also got some other conferences coming up later on in the year with US Dream Academy. So we're really excited just about, our clients' events, know, and I think that's, you have to get excited. You have to be excited about your clients' events. You really do, because it's what drives you to make it the best experience that it possibly can be. Like when you had yours, we were like so excited because you had the stadium and we're like, oh, she grown up. We're doing a grown up event.
She grown up.
So yeah. And then for me, I truly am passionate about educating. Education is, I feel like I call it my God job to help educate in this industry. I want to see our standard continue to rise because there is no there's no bar for where the entry point, I should say, is very low for how you can enter into our industry.
Absolutely.
And so I am such a big advocate for, educating, bringing those up, who want to and desire to get into this industry and want to have a thriving business, doing it the right way and starting the right way, which is not, it's not something that I got a chance to do, and many of us don't, because there's nobody to extend that hand to do that.
Absolutely.
So I've got some educational things coming down the pipe, Cheryl.
I love it.
That are gonna
once you
really
build
nice.
A solid foundation, you don't ever have to come back and rebuild that foundation. You can just build on the foundation. So I think that's very powerful. Well, we are at the end of our show, the end of our time here with you all. This has been an amazing conversation. We're going to have you come back because I cannot believe we talked for a whole hour.
I cannot believe it.
And I still haven't even scratched the surface of some of the things I wanted to talk about. So again, this has been Janelle Boyd of Completely Yours Events. It's a phenomenal company doing great things. It's so amazing to see your growth and development and seeing you hashtag getting on an airplane and going other places and touching lives in other places outside of just your own backyard. Global impact. That's why we call Impact the World, y'all. It's global. It's not just local. And as Janelle alluded to earlier, stop fishing in the local pond and start fishing in the global ocean. There is so much out there. Like, there's so much out there for you. And that's something that I mentioned as well on my Facebook Live this morning about just, getting out of your own mindset of believing there's not enough. Yes, there is enough. Sometimes you got to go out and find it, but there is plenty. So how can people reach you again?
Yes, so you can find me on Facebook, Janelle Boyd. On Instagram, I'm the Event Mama. You can also go to our website at completelyoursevents.com and you can contact me there. You can find me everywhere. So
I love it. Connect with her on social media. For Roz Jones, I know Cheryl Bruce is going to take care of this because you have an amazing team. Yes. Roz Jones wants you to inbox her the conference link because she's currently on travel and she wants to know the date. So I'm sure Cheryl Bruce will take care of that.
Probably have already inboxed you.
Exactly. All right, guys. So it's been another amazing show. We will be here again next Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Impact the World Radio, which you can always catch us right here on VoxWave.com. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sis.
Thank
you for being here.
We have powerful words. We have powerful minds. We use our voices and freedom takes flight. And we're ready to work. We're ready to win. We have a strategy and now we can begin. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. Now you are a champion. God is my witness. Imperfect perfection. Living my mission and winning. See, we are influencers. We have fear but don't stop. I have the confidence to rise to the top. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over. All I need is inside of me. I am enough and now I see, yeah, I will reach my destiny, yeah. I don't need your permission, yes, I'm on a mission, I'll win, oh, oh, oh yeah, oh, yeah. Now listen, I want y'all to repeat after me, okay? Because we're going to make some declarations in here today. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see me. Say, oh. Say, I'm building my legacy for the whole world to see. You say, we are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, we're shoulder to shoulder. We are standing bolder, shoulder to shoulder. Playtime is over. Playtime is over.